I will welcome everyone to the Madison County Public Library, and today is our very first Meet the Artisan with from our partnership with Gallery on Main. And I so appreciate that Jim Embry is our first artist, and he is a photographer amongst many, many things he does to educate the public in many ways, and I will let him go into that. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Alina. Thank you. I thank all of you all for coming today. I just so appreciate the partnership, collaboration between Gallery on Main, which we know is down the street, a few blocks, at the Community Trust Bank. And the gallery is open Monday through Friday, 9 to 4. And the show up there now is entitled Shaped by Water, the Pollinator Show. So some really nice pieces in there. Photography, paintings, jewelry, ceramics, what else? Just some beautiful pieces in there. So please stop by. And this July, for the first time, the library is collaborating with Gallery on Main to host this Artist of the Month project. And I agreed to be the guinea pig or the trial run. They said, well, if Jim can get through this, anybody can. Okay. So anyway, it's been just delightful, running back and forth sometimes, different locations, both locations. We've got some pretty good PR with the news conference a couple weeks ago, Black Art and the Register. And then we also had an article that came out Saturday about the Wings of Life film. That's part of this collaborative effort. We showed had the video available Thursday night, and then we'll be in Korea tomorrow night. I'm flying out to Denver on Wednesday for what's called Slow Food Nations. So Alina had me just compress all these activities into a few days. So I'm going to see how much energy you have, okay? But anyway, so again, I just want to thank everyone for coming out. And feel free to ask any questions at any time. I have on the wall here some additional photographs that I won't be sharing on the PowerPoint. Many of them are from my 5 different trips to Italy, what's called Terra Madre, the International Slow Food Gallery. Some of them are underwater shots from being a scuba diver. Some of them are from Detroit, jazz scene. And then, of course, as you know, just remind you that I hope you all will bring friends, family members back to the library and to the gallery, but back to the library and take time to go through the display case as well as those hanging on the wall. I did take time to do little note cards to provide some background, and I was hanging those up on Friday. Different people came by and were really appreciating the information about the note cards. Explain a number of things I'll talk about here as we go along. On the front, I've got different displays I'll be referring to as I go through my talk. On the wall here is a poster my son Obiora was able to get from the USDA NRCS. Okay, and I have some over here. If I would like a copy of this poster, which you can take home or take it to a school, a church, or a community center. That helps people become educated about. Come in, hey cousin, how you doing? Hello. They're all gone. You doing brownies back there? Oh yeah, Go to the store here, young man. We got all kinds of happy giving days. We got meals going on. We got talk going on. Welcome, cousins. Wonderful. I was just sharing that on this table here. I got some photographs that I won't have on my PowerPoint. Some of them are from my trip to Italy for Terra Madre. Some from being Detroit at Jazz Festival. Some underwater scenes. Also at the library, there's a display case right as you walk through on the right. second double doors. I've got about 12 photos in there, with little name tags. And then further back in the library, on the columns, I've got 10, 12 other pieces of art on the wall, again, with little name tags. So again, thank you for everyone for coming. I mentioned that this poster here, OBO was picked up from the NRCS office. There's some copies here, and I would like one. And I have on here some of the props I'm going to be using during the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to get into the heart of it. Again, I just want to thank Madison County Library. Athena back here is the director of adult programming. She kind of handles things happening here, the Richmond branch, as well as the Berea branch. And her cars, like mine, is always full of stuff that you're working on. But I appreciate her willingness to take a chance on an unknown person here, as I answer, yeah, well. Well, anyway, so we're collaborating on this program today, as well as the Wings of Light movie. And if you haven't seen the little commercial, if you haven't seen the movie Wings of Light, it's available at the Richmond branch.
Yes.
Berea branch.
Especially after Monday.
Yeah.
I have them held up.
It's a movie by Disney, and it's just incredibly beautiful. That's all I have to say. Ricky Barker, who wrote the article in the paper on Saturday, saw the movie and was just knocked out by it. It's incredible videography. So I would suggest that you check the movie out, take it home, watch it, that kind of thing. It's really good. Anyway, so I just want to thank everyone for their help. Gallery on Main, again, Community Trust Bank. My photography has been a big part of my activism for about 50 years. I was always using my camera to chronicle the activism beginning in the civil rights movement. Okay, as a young person. My mother was the president of what was called CORE, which was a direct action civil rights organization back in the 60s. I was 10 years old on picket lines, sitting in, waiting in, things like that. And oftentimes I had a camera with me just taking some of the images of our various kind of protest movement at a pretty young age. Now I've been involved in about every movement you can think of in the last 50 years. Food justice, disability movement, environmental movement. Now I direct a nonprofit. It's called Sustainable Communities Network. This is a network that contributes to the theory and practice of sustainable living, and we work on a local level with all kinds of things going on locally, work statewide. I used to work very closely with the Fletcher administration, Bashir administration, on a variety of things, especially around school gardens. I've trained about 500 teachers throughout Kentucky to create school gardens. My son and I used to team up together in offering those school garden workshops as well as local food summits for a bunch of years. And again, so we're a network of people, and we do a whole variety of things that all relate to sustainability, from building rain gardens and working with rain barrels and garden projects, green roof systems, good food, local food, all kinds of things like that. Now, I also happen to have been invited several years ago to both write articles, provide photographs for this book here. And this is the book here, Sustainable World Source Book, still available online. It's a great, beautiful book with all kinds of great pictures and great articles. In the back, there's a whole resource guide about how to be involved in the movement for sustainable communities. So, but in that book, I have 4 photographs. I won't show them all to you. This was one of my favorites. This was a picture taken up in Detroit, Michigan. I was up there living and working. And I call this, you probably can't see the bottom, called gold dust. And you might wonder, well, why is Jim calling that gold dust? Well, gardens, I have seen this look in kids' eyes over how many times? Hundreds of times from kids working in the garden. okay? They get inspired, they get excited, okay? They get peaceful. So this is an image of a young woman who happened to be actually from Yemen. She came to Detroit, part of the war refugees, and she and her sisters, not in the image, and for numerous months at this school, it was a new place, new language, she didn't know English, and she virtually never talked. Okay? But we began this garden this spring, and began planting. We planted some radishes, and one day outside, now here's a young woman named Selena who hadn't said much at all at the school for several months. But the radishes, you know, grow pretty quickly. You can harvest them pretty quickly. She pulled a radish up, and she spoke to her teacher and said, "Look, Miss Housey, it's a radish." And we all turned around and said, "Did you hear her?" So the garden opened her up. And we see this across the board. I worked in Lexington with what used to be called the Bluegrass Domestic Violence Program. I've seen women who experience domestic violence open up. I've seen women from Burundi and Rwanda, war refugees, come in there and open up by being out in the garden. So now it's called therapeutic horticulture. You see it within many different, you see it with veterans, you see it with inmates, okay? You see it with all kinds of folks. Anyway, so why it's called gold dust is because, look at her hands. Look at that black soil on her hand that comes from the garden. This is a reminder to us that this soil is more valuable than gold. Gold can't grow things to eat. Gold can't give life to plants and trees and animals, but this black soil can. So I call it gold dust. This is a shot of mine from Muir Woods. If you haven't been to California, right above San Francisco, to a place called Muir Woods, named for John Muir, you ought to go. It's like, for me, it's like a sanctuary. Okay? Now these trees, guess how old these trees might be in Muir Woods? Give me a guess. 700,000. Well, close. But these are redwood trees. And many of them in this park are 2,000 years old. Okay? So, and more. So coming from, say, from a Christian historical perspective, you could say these trees were young when Christ walked the land. These trees are probably what's called the oldest living things on earth. 2,000 plus years old. Anyway, so it's Muir Woods. I call it Stars and Muir. I try to do photography with some of that kind of star effect. Not with a lens. It's all about trying to move and get a reflective eye. Okay? So this image here, of course, is the image that's on the flyers for the library as well as the gallery on Main. And this image was taken, what's called the Crone Conservatory in Cincinnati. If you haven't been, you ought to go. They have up there every spring from March to June what's called the Butterfly Show. And this past year, the theme was called The Majestic Monarch. So from about March through June, you had a big room like this, even bigger, full of butterflies, especially monarchs. So it's one of my favorite places to go and take pictures. Okay. But anyway, if you haven't been, you ought to go. Crone Conservatory in Cincinnati, Eden Park. But this image, you know, is one of about 10 that I took. I chose this one as my favorite to be on these cards. My favorite. But this is an example of so you go to Crone and you have to kind of like watch as things, you know, are happening with the butterflies. So this black swallowtail kind of came in at first on this hibiscus flower and landed, and I have different images of that. Okay, what's above here, as you know, is the stamen pistil of the flower that provides the pollination and things like that. And then what happened? The white butterfly came flying in. That's what you see on the image. Came flying in. Then it landed with the black one. And then I took some other shots from the top view. Okay? So I'll take, sometimes on an outing like that, maybe several hundred pictures. But I'm then asked to go down and cull through for an exhibit, say, at the library. Okay? Anyway, it was fun though. This is an image, of course, of a honeybee on our farm. And these flowers here are called spring beauties. They come up real early, okay? Hey Ash, how you doing? Yeah, go on in. Come on in. We're just beginning. Bless you all, bless you all. So this image here, I call it bee beauty. I'm taking both the name of the honeybee and taking the image of the spring beauty flower. And my yard in the springtime is just full of them. Looks like snow almost. There's so many of them. If you want some, come out in the spring, pick some up, take them home. And if you live in Lexington, some of my friends do, and son, if you go by Henry Clay's home, certain times of the year, you look over there and you say, that's snow. Spring beauties. Okay? So the bee was out earlier this spring. And I did, upon the encouragement of different friends of mine, I did purchase a beehive, and I have some images of my babies here in this next slide. These are my babies here. Okay? Got about 8,000 of them in the hive. And if you want to come out and learn how to care for bees, don't come to my farm. Go somewhere else. But no, I'm just a newbie, okay? I'm a newbie. But come out and I can dress you up with netting and gloves and whatever else you might want. Smoking bees and calm them down. And you can help me then find the queen. Okay? So again, I purchased this from the local Madison County Beekeeping Association. And so up here, there's some brochures. Anybody wants one about beekeeping? Take them home, take them to friends, take them to churches. Because part of my view is that everyone at your home, at your apartment, at your church, school, ought to create habitats for pollinators. To me, it's spiritual work. Okay? Spiritual work. And if everyone eats, and then half of what we eat requires pollination. So again, pick up brochures about beekeeping. There's also some seeds up here that you can take with you. Take home and plant to create this habitat for pollinators. Now, what's this right here? Anybody know what this right here is? Hummingbird. Now, in all of my years of watching hummingbirds, I have never seen one sit still. Okay? They're always flying in, flying to the flower, and they're flapping their wings, and they're getting the nectar out of there, and off they go. Well, my yard is oftentimes full of them, 3 and 4 at a time come in, have so many flowers. Saw my first one several weeks ago. Well, last year, I was sitting out, somewhat, you can see some of the drops on the flowers, kind of after a rain. Okay? And then here they come. And this one, I guess, just felt so at home. It just sat on the flower. I said, do you believe that? It sat still. So that's, again, some of my zoo folks out at the farm. These next images are all from my flower garden. It brings, as you can see, just all types of butterflies, moths, bees, bumblebees, you name it, come in. I have several of these big, called butterfly bushes that they love, come in. And this is another one. You got the tiger swallowtail, you got the white swallowtails. And people oftentimes ask, well, how do you get such close images? I think part of it is that, like, people can feel a certain vibration from you. Insects can, animals can. And I think that the It's in my front yard. The butterflies. I have a frog. I have a fish pond that I put in the spring, and after a couple of months of having the fish, I would go out there initially, to feed them, and they would go down to the bottom. Who is that guy? I don't know him. This came to the pet store. But now, when I go out, they just all come around. So, oh, chow time. I bought some tadpoles weeks ago, and now they're frogs, and they're sitting on the lily pad and they're saying, what you got for me? Anyway, so you can get close-ups by, of course, getting your camera and just going real slowly to the plant, as the one here. This is again the yard, little kind of flower. Now, I mentioned before Chrome Conservatory, and I hope you all will go. I have a yearly membership. I can go, quote, for free. You pay a certain amount of money. You can go anytime, like a family membership. I go about 8-10 times a year. It's like, again, a spiritual home. It's a big, huge greenhouse with plants from all over the world. But the butterfly show is really special. Living in Covington for a bunch of years with my parents and brother, I began going there at a young age. Just fell in love with it and have been going since then. But you can see that this young lady has that vibration with the butterflies. When you go there for the show, they'll land on you, and no telling where they might land. They might land back here, or land on your head, on your forehead, wherever. But she has them just everywhere, on her both fingers, on her chest, and on her ear. Okay? And that's out of her ear. So I call this image Chrome Earring. This is a big, again, these are all typically tropical butterflies that you wouldn't typically see in Kentucky. This is like a blue morph. It's like a moth, actually. It has that blue interior, and then those wings close up like a big eye. And then this is a kind of having fun with the camera. Seeing parents taking pictures of their children and kind of like, getting behind them to capture that kind of unique pose. This is a butterfly again from the Chrome Conservatory. I call it the red tail, the name of that image. And again, you go up there and you see all these various colors of butterflies, different sizes. It's just incredible. And again, this image that's on the card also came from the conservatory. And yeah, I look like this because the white butterfly is coming in somewhat, not quite distinct, but coming in for a landing. So I call this flower hibiscus landing. It's on display in the interior library. When I was here the other day, hanging my cards up, I met someone who was going out. This image is in the display case, and I put my little name tag up, okay? Because the person who was there that day had seen it and thought that, oh, well, whoever the artist is did a great job of what's called photoshopping this image, which is a way to go through and alter the colors and things. I put my card up there. She said, oh, this is my work. Yeah, it sure is. This is a tree I took a picture of in Costa Rica out there scuba diving. I explained to her that this was not photoshopped. It wasn't altered. But this is how the tree actually looks in Costa Rica. It's called a rainbow. It's in the family of eucalyptus trees. Okay? It's called the rainbow variety. And it's a big park there in San Jose. As you can see, all the trees look like that, even the parts of the root system. It reminds me of our sycamore tree here, that the bark kind of sheds. It's kind of white from a distance sometimes, a little brown, very similar. If you go to California, you'll see this variety of tree growing in California, not with this kind of a color, but like the brownish and dull white kind of color. The point is, as you go to the tropics, everything's more colorful. Trees, coral, birds. You don't see parakeets in Kentucky, except in the pet store. But you go here, you'll see things like that. So anyway, so that's the rainbow tree in Costa Rica. We used to go every year to Nags Head, Outer Banks, family vacation. And this is an image of when we were on the ferry ride going from the natural seashore to another island. I forget now what it's called. So we were on a ferry boat, and we were like taking, I think, French fries or peanuts and kind of pitching them out for the gulls to grab. And what we found was that the gulls would come in before it hit the water and catch it. And we said, wow, that's pretty amazing. I told my friend Elizabeth Vega, I says, let's try holding a French fry up like that and see what will happen. And she tried that, and the gull would come in and just take it out off her fingers. After a while, as you can see, we had a whole assembly line of birds coming in, getting the food. And those kind of things are just, for me, they're just amazing experiences. Okay. Again, this is a underwater scene. I call it Red Sea. This is not from the Red Sea, of course. It's from the Grand Cayman Islands area. But again, you can go in the water, and coral is every color in the rainbow. You see fish, every color in the rainbow. You see black and yellow, black and white fish, green fish, blue fish, you name it. Every color in the rainbow. And I've been blessed to have gone. This one I call, it's on display, I call it Karen's Coral. If you look behind the coral closely, you will see an image of a woman who's diving. A friend of mine named Karen Napier. You'll see her tank here, okay? She was like albino, so you'll see her kind of like white, blondish hair. Here's her mask, and then back here is her legs and fins, okay? So, and Karen was, if you're familiar with albinism, it leaves you in a condition, not only of the skin is very light, the sun affects you, but also your eyes are affected, your retina's affected, and you're almost like legally blind. So for someone like Karen to have the courage, tenacity, to take these conditions and persevere, learn how to swim, learn how to dive, is pretty significant. And we were like brother and sister. And when you're diving, sometimes I find myself, this image here, in a school of fish that are literally all around me. I can kind of reach out and try to touch them, but they will move away just a certain distance. You can't touch them, and they'll move back. So these are grunts. This is my friend Karen again. I ask people all the time, I see this photo, is this a photo of a sunset or a sunrise? Maxine, what do you think?
Sunset.
Sunset. What do you think, Maya? Sunrise. What do you think, Ash? Sunset, okay. Typically it's a sunset because when sunset it's when it's like really deep orange, reddish hue. But Maya was correct. It's a sunrise. This is an image from Hilton Head. We were there every year on vacation for about 8 or 10 years, and we had this contest between myself and Karen and my mother. And the idea was who could get to the ocean first to catch the morning sun. And my mom was usually the winner. When she was a nurse, got up in the morning early for that first shift. I was there by 5:30 and worked by 7. So she knew how to get up in the morning early. And she usually won. But on this morning, Karen won. Okay? And I have here again about 30 different pictures of Karen at sunset. I have pictures of the sun way down here, barely coming up. But she didn't know I was out there taking pictures of her, okay? As the sun came up, this beautiful, you can see an orange-red color came up. I said, wow. Knocked out by it. So Maya, you're right. Sunrise. This is an image of a tree frog there near the Outer Banks at an aquarium, actually. Now every year, I get to go every 2 years to this program called Terra Madre, International Slow Food Gathering. I've been 5 times. I was there last fall. A lot of the images here are from Terra Madre. I'm working on a book, my son's going to laugh, that will be pretty much a book of photographs about my different trips to Italy for Terra Madre. It was an incredible experience. Athena wants to go. I got her hooked. It's a chance to go and meet people from about every country in the world and have all this great food to go along with it. Okay? You go as a USA delegate, they say pay your way over there, and then we cover 4 nights lodging, we cover transportation from the airport to the conference site, we cover 3 meals a day, and we cover transportation from wherever you're staying every day to the conference site. Now, where else can you go, especially internationally, and get that kind of support financially? So it's Terra Madre, sponsored by the Slow Food Movement. I'm heading out Wednesday to Denver for what's called Slow Food Nations. And along the way, I'll probably climb from the Rocky Mountains and visit Mesa Verde. Here's some of the images of folks who come to Terra Madre. Okay? And they come, of course, in all this beautiful attire. When I go, I'll try to say, well, you know, in America, we always dress in these blacks and browns and grays and, you know, really dull colors. I think it affects our mentality. Here's my true feeling about that. But the rest of the world comes looking like this. And it's just so gorgeous. And so you get to go along and you get to meet people, okay, and hang out with them for like those 4 or 5 days. It's like being at the UN for 4 or 5 days. It's an incredible experience. I still have friends I write to, correspond, do things on Facebook. We share information all the time. And they come, and we have a big, opening ceremony. And some folks come with the bag literally on their head. Now, this image here has a whole story behind it. I took this image, I think in 2010. I've got thousands of images, of course, of Terra Madre. I took it in 2010, but I didn't really know who this was. Okay, because part of photography is you're taking pictures, and times you don't stop and say, well, what's your name? And if I have a book coming out, I want to know who you are. You're taking pictures. Okay, it's part of the weakness of photography, not knowing oftentimes who the person is. Well, I took this picture in 2010. Had it in my computer, and didn't know who that was didn't know who that was. But also every year I get invited down to Somerset Community College for their international festival. A good friend named Elaine Wilson is the director of diversity there. And she has a great, wonderful day full of all kinds of international exhibits and speakers and dances and music. I get to go every year, and I do I hear a big photo exhibit. I take some, images of carvings from Africa and Cuba and all around as part of my display. And I also do a talk, okay, usually about Terra Madre, as I did last fall. Well, in 2014, she said, Jim, we're going to make you the featured speaker this year and have you on some of the promotional stuff. So send me some pictures, if you will, of yourself, and some pictures of your being at Terra Madre. So sure. I picked out 3 or 4 pictures of Terra Madre, and she chose the picture you saw earlier. She chose that picture to be on the flyer, okay, in 2014. I'll pass it around. She chose that picture. I said, well, great, nice flyer, hey, cool. Now, here's a flyer here, okay, for, 2016. So, so I go to Terra Madre last fall, okay, and here's the brochure here, okay. This is like the promotional piece that you see everywhere at Terra Madre. They're on all the big billboards, they're on, all the written information, just everywhere. These are the 2 key people being featured. I said, oh wow, nice shots. Beautiful, okay, no problem. And then here's this lady here, her name was Elizabeth Odette, on a big vinyl sign, okay, there in Terra Madre. Now, so here she is again, okay, on a big vinyl sign on one of the palaces there. So this year, I chose to go and stay with a host family in Torino, and it was an incredible experience, okay? Here's the host family here. Now, the wife, I didn't know until I got over there, was a school teacher. And one of the reasons why they assigned me to this host family was because of my activism. They knew that I would be a great speaker at her school. So she had set it up where I would go to her school on a Monday and do a presentation to her high school, students. Okay? So which I did. Now, she said, well, Jim, you're going to be on a panel with another person. I said, well, great, I've got a few, things here, a few props. I got a little script I can deliver. So great, I'm going to be on a panel with another person. I didn't know it was the same person that was the poster woman for Terra Madre. And it didn't hit me until much later. Here's the students. It didn't hit me, so here we are, there together. The students who so we had an interpreter, right? One of the students was interpreting for me from English to Italian. Another student was, for her, the translator, she spoke French. She was from what was called the Central African Republic. Elizabeth Odette, we still correspond. I didn't realize that this woman who I was on the panel with, who was the poster woman for Terra Madre, was the same woman I took a picture of in 2012. Okay? So we know how energies work. Okay? If you put good vibes out, oftentimes they come back years later. So that's just a thought about that. Another story about Terra Madre. I've had so many, I can't recount them all, so many wonderful experiences of being there. It's a big opening ceremony. People come in under their flags, They call all the countries out, they march in, we sit down, we hug, we kiss, meet each other. Oftentimes, there's a language, limitation. I've learned you talk with your eyes, if you talk with love in your heart, people just open up. These women here were from Kyrgyzstan. And I, of course, went around and met all kinds of people, met them. They couldn't speak English. But their daughter spoke English. So we're like I'm gathering the daughter with the mom, talking all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was great. Then I saw them about 3 times after the opening ceremony. And I would always give them a hug, see how they're doing, and try to talk to the mom, to the daughter, okay? So the 4th time I saw them at Terra Madre, the mother was wearing this, okay? She was wearing this, that they, of course, wear and they make in Kyrgyzstan. And I saw them again, and I gave them a hug, and the mom took this jacket off and folded it up to give to me. And I said, well, I can't take the coat off your back, literally. Her daughter said, true story, whenever we see you, you always hug her, and you just fill her up with inspiration. And she hadn't really met before Americans, but she had some images of how Americans might act, arrogant, know-it-all, whatever. And you gave her just a different feeling for some of the Americans that she might interact with. And she thought she would give you her coat. So that's the story of Terra Madre. So those kind of things you experience at Terra Madre. Okay, just incredible. This is I've been blessed to have gotten requests to do front cover photos for Ace magazine. These guys were from Brazil. They were in town a couple years ago, and they did the big Lincoln mural there behind the Kentucky Theater. I had been to Brazil before seen some of the beautiful murals there, and we had a good conversation about my trip over there to Sao Paulo, where he was from. So Ace Magazine. If anybody here like cappuccino? Well, I like cappuccino. Well, this is the new technology. While we're at Torre Madre, the company called Lavazza has this machine now. You can go like up at Purdy's or somewhere, and they'll make this real kind of beautiful little flower in your cappuccino.